drivers put on a great show on every type of track. Driving these cars, banging off of each other.
No, he gets sideways. He's off the racetrack. There he goes, trying to make the pass. If you're a driver trying to get in, you get little opportunities like that. Watch how hard these guys are going to drive.
Checkered flag in the air.
Checkered flag there, champion.
The NASCAR K&N Pro Series West Division comes to its penultimate event. We're at the NAPA Auto Parts 150 at the All-American Speedway here in Roseville, California. Hi, everybody. Ray Dunlap along with Phil Parsons. Bernadette Santacola is down in the pits, and I believe right now she is caught up with the guy who comes in as our point leader.
Well, guys, it's weird to see the number 26 car of Greg Pursley not starting at the front of the field. But one thing we know about this driver is that he doesn't have to take the pole to win the race. I was talking to Greg earlier and surprised to hear that he actually has a bucket list. 3 tracks that he hasn't won at that he wants to. One of them is right here at All-American Speedway. Guys, can you guess the other 2?
Well, Phil, I'm going to guess Sonoma because he's such a good road racer and he's never won there.
Yeah, that's a big race, and the new race at Daytona coming next February probably is on his bucket list as well. A lot of people are excited about that race, but these are the 3 things you're going to have to excel at to be good here tonight. You're going to have to turn the center of the corner, you're going to have good forward bite up off these corners, and you're going to have to be easy on the brakes.
No question about it. When you come to All-American Speedway, there's one guy who's had a lot of success right here, and he's with Bernadette.
All right, guys, we talked about the keys to winning a race almost each race. Now, Roseville, who knows it better than Bill Backnell? Bill, you got 4 cars starting there, all top 5, top 6. You know how to win here. What's it going to take?
Well, it's going to take being there at the end, keeping your fenders clean, and saving your tires and brakes for the last few laps. We got some great drivers here. Holmes definitely knows how to win here. We had some great success with Paulie Walker here in the past. Our team just rises to the challenge to race at our hometown. It's a great event for us, sponsored by NAPA and Toyota, and we want to bring home a victory tonight.
Right, where Eric Holmes has done it 4 times. Let's see if he can do it again tonight.
No question about it. Holmes has this one circled on his schedule. He's 4th in points. And Phil, we've got a tight battle from 1st back to 3rd. Kwasniewski, Thorn right there in the hunt with Greg Pursley.
Yeah, I think Eric Holmes probably is out of the thing right now, 58 points behind, but certainly have a great battle up front.
Dylan Kwasniewski currently 2nd in the points, and he's down trackside. Let's get back down to Bernadette once more.
Thanks, guys. Well, the battle for the championship is going to go down to the final race in Phoenix, but the 2 major contenders are teammates, Greg Pursley and Dylan Kwasniewski. Dylan, you're on the pole here tonight. What's it going to take for you to stay ahead?
You know, I think we just definitely have to have good tire management. I definitely want to stay ahead, but I mean, it was costly last race, so we got to make sure what happens in New Mexico doesn't happen to us today.
Are you worried about the traffic on a track like this?
You know, it's tough, but I think we're getting through really good in practice, and I think our car is really good. The Royal Purple Ford's awesome, so I just got to hold off these guys behind me. I mean, Thorn's really good. He won this last SRL race, so just got to make sure I keep it in front.
And no question about it, Phil, in our last race at Albuquerque, Kwasniewski had a great race car, but he burned the tires off, and that dropped him back in the finish order, and he didn't get a great result.
But we have perfect weather here, 62 degrees. A little bit warmer this afternoon. It's cooling off a little bit, but all the drivers say this is perfect racing weather.
Autumn has come to California, and we're glad you're here with us. The NAPA Auto Parts 150 is getting ready to roll. We're at the All-American Speedway. 2 races to go in the chase for the championship. 150 laps, the racing action tonight here at the All-American Speedway. Welcome back to Roseville, California, as the K&N Pro Series West gets ready to roll. Ray Dunlap and Phil Parsons high atop of the racetrack here. And Phil, let's take a look at our starting lineup tonight. We've already heard from the pole sitter, Dylan Kwasniewski, who's right there in that title hunt. He will roll off, and right on his outside, Derek Thorn in the number 6 Sunrise Ford will be 2nd.
Yeah, teammates Cameron Haley, Eric Holmes back in row number 2, as well as in row number 3, drivers making their debut here in the series.
Couple of new drivers this weekend. Jason FENSLER back in action. He'll roll off 10th. Good to see Mike David back in the number 51 this week. And how about Dallas Montez, a driver who finished 2nd in his first career start, filling in for David Mayhew. We'll round out the field with 24 starters here as we get ready to go racing. Ryan Partridge and Tommy Regan at the back of the field.
Had a big field of cars here, had 30 competitors trying to make this race, just the fastest 24.
So we get ready to roll, in an interesting topic to keep our eye on tonight. Can Kwasniewski manage his tires better than he did in the last race? And can Greg Pursley come from deep in the field tonight and be a competitor. You see Pursley back there, not a good qualifying effort, very uncharacteristic for Gene Price's number 26. The green flag is out, and here we go. A tough start for the number 17.
Yeah, big problems back on row number 3. That seized up the field.
David Mayhew did not get a good start, so everybody jamming on the brakes, but we're back to racing action now, and on the outside, here goes Derek Thorn. He's going to put pressure on the pole setter and try to get an early lead. Thorn to the outside, looks like he has the preferred line.
Yeah, and one thing about this racetrack, it's definitely 2 grooves. You can run around here. The ends of the racetrack are completely different, though. Only 8 degrees of banking down here in turns 1 and 2. Progressive banking from 10 to 14 degrees over in turns 3 and 4.
That time at the line, it looked like Derek Thorn was the leader. He will take that car out in front. The 6 to the lead. Kwasniewski drops back to second, and he's under heavy pressure from the number 20. Eric Holmes will put that NAPA car to the inside. It looks like he's going to fight for second.
We know that Eric Holmes knows how to get around this racetrack. A 4-time winner. He's led 567 laps here at this racetrack.
How cool is that, Phil, when you come to a racetrack that you know you should be the man to beat every time you jump behind the wheel?
Yeah, he does a nice job here. He's got a great battle going on right now for that second spot. Kwasniewski, our pole sitter, on the outside. Eric's on the inside.
We've talked about this a couple of times in the last few previous races, but really, that blown engine at Sonoma really put a damper in Holmes' shot at having another run for the title. They finished back in the mid-20s that night, and it really just kind of deflated their sails.
Yeah, it really hurts you when you have a big field of cars like we do at Sonoma. A lot more points can be gained or lost.
So here is Holmes. He's putting pressure on Kwasniewski. Got the bumper right up as they come through the middle of 3 and 4. And right behind them, another NAPA Auto Parts car. That's the number 24 of Cameron HAYLEY.
Yeah, Cameron HAYLEY's looking for his first win here in the series. He's got a couple runner-up finishes, hasn't got to victory lane yet.
Just one of those drivers, Phil, that have been so impressive. And a lot of these guys, very, very young competitors and learning a lot each week. And HAYLEY's been right there in the top 5 in a number of our last few races.
Great run by Eric Holmes. A problem looks like for the 0-3 of Kwasniewski. Caution flag is on the racetrack.
Keep in mind, Kwasniewski started on the pole and has lost a number of positions. But, Phil, it looks to me like he is slowing down. And we now have Travis Milburn gets his number 14 back righted. That was the reason for our caution, but I think Kwasniewski's gone to the pits.
He has, and the pit road at this racetrack is outside the racetrack. We'll see. Undoubtedly, he must have felt like he had a tire going down. Pulled out onto pit road, which is, again, is outside the racetrack.
Makes it really tough to stay up front throughout the course of the race when you're in the pits.
Let's see if he can get back out of the pits before the caution card, see if he can stay on the lead lap.
So Derek Thorn now, the number 6, is at the front of the field. Here comes Kwasniewski in that Rockstar and Royal Purple race car. He is back out, but he will be at the tail end.
But Ray, amazingly enough, they got out without losing a lap on this little 3rd mile track.
It's pretty cool where you go into the pits on turn number 2, you get back there, get your service, and right back out. You can jump in at the end of the field if you don't have too much work to do while you're in the pit area. So Kwasniewski will be at the tail end of the field. Now keep in mind, he led this field to green, but Derek Thorn got a really good jump and took the lead, and right behind him, the king of Roseville, there's the number 20 of Holmes right there lurking.
Yeah, Eric's going to jump on the outside for this restart. He said it's not a huge disadvantage to go on the outside on the restarts. Again, certainly a 2-groove racetrack here, so should be a great restart.
I love the shape of this racetrack. You know, it's just different. It's unique.
It's very unique. The corners couldn't be probably any different than they are right here, and it's very much a challenge for these guys.
Kind of gives you that Darlington feel a little bit. It's tighter at one end. Well, okay, we're ready to go back to racing. Holmes on the outside tries to get a good jump. Here goes Derek Thorn down to the inside, 2 by 2 down the front straightaway, and we've got a battle up front.
Yeah, great run off the corner for Eric Holmes. He has a bit of an advantage right now over Thorn. See if he can beat him to the start-finish line.
They are side by side, Phil. These guys having a great battle, and we've got a little contact back in the field. Back there, we see Mayhew now moving to the high side, and the caution is out for the 2nd time.
See Michael Self with a lot of damage to that Bay Bio Diesel, number 21, a 2-time winner already this year.
He has knocked the rear quarter panel right off of that thing. Damage on the right front also, and we'll take a look at it here after we got going, and there was some contact back there. Boy.
Greg Pursley with a lot of damage.
Yeah, Pursley was involved in that, and also Braden Havens looked like he took a little bit, but no question about it, Michael Self the worst for wear.
Yeah, but our point leader, Greg Pursley, with some pretty significant damage to that Ford.
Early on here in the NAPA Auto Parts 150, we'll be back with more racing action in the K&N Pro Series West. 2 races to go in the title fight. Derek Thorn out front here in Roseville. K&N Pro Series West, and we have got a title fight going down to the very wire. It's this race, and then we head off to Phoenix, but we've got a lot of laps to go tonight to figure out who's going to be out front here in Roseville.
Yeah, the NASCAR officials ruled that Eric Holmes was our leader. He's going to take the inside on this restart.
Boy, the number 6 car really spun the tires and got it sideways. Derek Thorn trying to get to that power down early, and looks like he's done it, Phil. He's got the lead back.
We've seen a couple times now. Eric Holmes did it last time off of turn number 2. This time, Derek Thorn did it.
How about
we got a spinner. Jason Fensler, the 59, is around at the exit of turn number 4.
And Phil Pursley looks like he also spun there, too. We're going to have to see. I think there's simultaneous action happening on both ends of the racetrack. Yeah, Pursley was a spinner also.
Yeah, he's already back at the back of the pack. You see a lot of that damage that came from that earlier incident that Michael Self was involved in, but this is not something you want to have happen here. Oh, you see the contact between the 16 and the 59 of Fensler.
Fensler goes spinning off of the corner, and we got to keep in mind that we have got a pretty tight points battle here, so we'll keep our eye on Greg Pursley throughout the course of the night. Second time tonight, he's already been involved in a caution.
Yeah, the 16 is Jamie Kresick. He's making his debut in one of Bill McAnally's Toyotas, but right now our point leader Greg Pursley with some damage.
So the NASCAR official looking over this field, trying to get him lined back up. That's who all was involved in this crash. I didn't realize John Wood also a spinner there.
Yeah, Tommy Regan, the 38 car involved.
So the light will go out on our safety truck here, and they'll get them lined up 2 by 2, ready to go again.
Eric Holmes is going to jump to the inside once again. How about the job the 99 of Marcus NEMELA is doing here, first ever start in this series?
The Bad Piggies Toyota right there in the second row, ready to go, and he'll start right beside Cameron HAYLEY. We'll see who gets the jump this time. Again, we can't really talk about it enough about how good Eric Holmes has been at this racetrack. Just fantastic numbers. Actually, Bill McAnally Racing has pretty much dominated this particular racetrack. We're back under green, and oh, there's NEMELA, gets sideways coming off the corner. Let's get back down trackside to Bernadette.
Guys, we talk about Dylan Kwasniewski and Greg Pursley in that battle for the championship, but we can't forget Derek Thorn. Now, he is 23 points behind the 03 and 37 behind the 26, but there's still a big chance for this kid. He's always good on these short tracks and told me he's really confident tonight and still gunning for the win.
Anything can happen, Phil, and we look at the numbers Thorn has put up here over the last few races. A second place at Sonoma, a second at Colorado, and the big winner at Albuquerque, so he's right there in the hunt.
Yeah, without a doubt, and both our point leaders in front. Oh, we get a little bit of contact. He's around.
There goes Derek Thorn. He gets spun as there is contact from the number 20, and just as we're talking about it, after leading 31 laps, Thorn gets the boot, and he's going to go to the infield.
That will bring out the caution flag. I was just saying that our 2 point leaders are both having problems. Kwasniewski with a flat tire. There's a contact right there. Eric Holmes just lifted him up a little bit.
You get those rear tires off of the ground, and that driver of the 6 had nothing to do for sure. He's going to the grass, but he will stay on the lead lap here as he got that Sunrise Ford refired, and he'll go to the back of the field.
Yeah, it looked like he just didn't go when Eric was expecting him to. That's not how Eric drives. He's not going to just take somebody out, but he certainly got in the back of him, lifted up, and around he went.
Fans were up on their feet for sure right there as they saw the leader of the race get spun out, and we've now had 3 cautions in the NAPA Auto Parts 150. We'll be back to Roseville right after these messages. You're watching the K&N Pro Series West right here on Speed. Three cautions tonight in the NAPA Auto Parts 150. Our most recent one saw the leader go to the infield. And right now, Derek Thorn will start from the back of the pack as we've got NAPA race cars side by side. Eric Holmes ready to lead the field to the green once again.
How about the 51 car of Mike David restarts 4th? First start in 3 years in the series, our former champion.
And Jonathan Gomez there in the number 22. He will roll off on the inside of lane number 2. Gomez missed our most recent race over at Albuquerque. Of course, it was harvest season out in Idaho, and they got a lot of plants to pick.
right now. He's trying to make up for lost time. Good run going so far, side by side with Mike David, as we have a side-by-side battle for the lead.
Good racing here is back through 4 or 5 rows. The cars continue to stay side by side. We've got great racing. These guys staying off the fenders so far. To the inside, Cameron HAYLEY, the Canadian, racing tight with his teammate in that number 20.
Don't you know Eric Holmes, who was in the midst of a battle like this, is why do I help these young drivers, my teammates?
Yeah, absolutely. And right behind him, I said that Century Boatland number 22. That's Gomez. Our newcomer in the number 99, Markus NEMELA, I should say.
Contacting around Gomez goes. NEMELA got into him.
And it looked like NEMELA got his tires down off the racetrack just a little bit, and that caused contact over here. And I'll tell you what, Phil, it is starting to look like we're going to have a rough and tumble NAPA Auto Parts 150 tonight.
There's a contact right there. NEMELA was on the bottom of the racetrack. Gomez came down a little bit. And watch everyone, watch the chain reaction. Mayhew very, very fortunate here. There's the 16. He gets involved. There's another shot of the contact, and around Gomez goes.
And we see Dylan Hutchison in the number 5. He'll get spun right there as he applies the brakes. So that is our 5th caution. I think I may have misspoke at the top of the segment. I said that was our 3rd, but we've had 5 already, and we're still not even to halfway.
See all 5 cars that were involved in this incident. David Mayhew got back going, didn't lose too much track position. He's going to restart 5th inside 3rd row.
It's just strange. It almost seems like some of these guys don't have good grip, and whoever touches them from the rear, boy, they're just right around.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot here. These guys are on the edge of control. We talked about having that forward bite. That was a severe lack of forward bite right there for Jonathan Gomez after the contact.
We see that 5150 energy drink Toyota on the outside of row number 2. And boy, HAYLEY does not get a good start that time. Looks like the number 20 will easily jump back out to the lead.
Yeah, Eric Holmes has it. Now Mike David pulls to the outside of Cameron HAYLEY in a battle for second.
Tight racing around this racetrack. Eric Holmes, the super duper racer here at All-American Speedway. Don't know if I can say that enough times in this broadcast, but the truth is his numbers here are absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, they certainly are. Over 500 laps led, 4 wins. But I'm telling you, I'm really impressed with the job NEMELA is doing. Again, he had the contact just a few moments ago with Gomez, but there he is running in the 4th spot ahead of David Mayhew and behind Mike David.
And Phil, I've had my eye on the number 9 of Austin Dine. He has been stuck to the high side of the racetrack, and oh, here goes the HARR car, goes around 71. The iWorld Connect Chevrolet is spun, and guess what? We're under 6th caution already.
Yeah, DARYL HARR got turned around in traffic. There's Braden Havens. He also gets involved. Doesn't appear to be a whole lot of damage to the 61 car, but they do get going before our leader Eric Holmes gets there, so they will stay on the lead lap. See what happens. It looks like FENSLER got in the back of DARYL HARR. FENSLER's that yellow car, number 59, and around went DARYL HARR.
Jason FENSLER has not competed in as many races this year as they would have liked to, but tonight he has been right in the hornet's nest of just about all these. And it looks like the number 9 of Austin Dine may have gotten a little contact in that too, Phil.
Yeah, huge break that time for Greg PURSLEY. He got by all that incident on the inside and may restart here at about the 5th spot as the red flag is coming out.
How uncharacteristic, Phil, is it right now? I know we're still way early in this race, but to see Greg PURSLEY not be at the front of the field, somewhat concerning to me. We're 1/3 of the way through the NAPA Auto Parts 150, and out front, it's Mr. Roseville, Eric Holmes, in car number 20. You may have heard that old statement, cautions breed cautions. Well, so far tonight in the NAPA Auto Parts 150, that has been the case 6 times tonight already. We've been under the yellow flag. Hopefully we can get a long stretch of green right here. Derek THORN has worked his way back up pretty far into the field. Very impressive, Phil.
Yeah, it certainly is, as well as Greg PURSLEY. Greg PURSLEY's made his way up into the top 10. A couple good breaks in traffic there as the green comes out.
Green flag back out, and we're underway once again, and we obviously have our eyes on PURSLEY tonight. Also Kwasniewski. Can Derek THORN get back in this championship chase? Really, in our belief, it's a 3-man title fight right now. Eric Holmes, even with a win tonight, would still be many points out as we go to the final event in Phoenix.
Yeah, you see PURSLEY right there battling David Mayhew for the 5th spot. Now he pulls to the outside of the 51 of Mike David.
PURSLEY on the outside, the 51 down to the inside, and right behind them, the MMI Services number 17, that is Mayhew, and he's under pressure from Derek THORN. But it's interesting when you see these two guys side by side, one in a championship fight and one an infrequent racer.
Guys, we got a lot of great storylines here tonight. One of them is a former series champ, Mike David, returning and in the driver's seat. Mike David told me earlier that there's a lot of things on his mind, and although he's not gunning for a championship this year, he just likes to race. One person he is kind of gunning for is Greg Pursley. I don't know if you guys remember a race back at Texas when Greg Pursley somewhat spun him out. Mike David told me that he's like Jimmy Spencer, and he doesn't forget.
That could be costly for Pursley if Mike David were able to go searching for some revenge tonight.
Yeah, well, they were side by side just a moment ago, and Mike Davis not that type of race car driver. He's a great race car driver. So we see Mayhew and Pursley now battling side by side for fourth, but that was Greg Pursley's first career win at Kyle, Texas, that Bernadette was talking about.
Some fender-to-fender contact there between Pursley and Mayhew. Mayhew will get the position, and Pursley drops right behind him. But guess what? Coming right back into this fight is the 0-3. Here's Kwasniewski trying to work his way back into contention.
Yeah, all the guys that had trouble early on are battling their way back towards the front. Pursley, we saw the damage he had. Derek Thorn got turned around. And there's Kwasniewski right behind them as well.
Phil, when we race at this track, we don't always see this much beating and banging, but so far tonight, it seems like there's been a good bit of aggression out on the racetrack.
Yeah, these guys know that time is running out in this series, this season. Only one more race after this at Phoenix, one of the faster racetracks that we run on.
The next lap by, we will be halfway in the NAPA Auto Parts 150. Here is Derek Thorn. He's been a contender tonight, but got spun out at the front of the field. We've got 4 race cars tonight by Bill McAnally Racing. Let's get an update on their team with Bernadette.
Well, guys, BMR is obviously making a statement here tonight. One of the drivers added, though, by Bill McAnally is that number 99 of Markus NEMELA. From Finland, I talked to him earlier, and he's really has most of experience from Europe. He's won in the Atlantic Champ Car Series. He's never been in a stock car before tonight. I asked him the biggest difference. He said, it's so slow. He said, it's not easy, but it is a lot slower than what he's used to.
Kind of like Kimi Räikkönen. He had that same kind of a feel when he came Camping World Truck Series racing. He said, boy, these are fun, but they're slow.
I've been very impressed, though, with NEMELA. You see him right there lined up behind his teammate Cameron HAYLEY, doing a nice job. Has remained in the top 5 this entire race. You see right now the 17 of Mayhew running a little bit higher line. They're trying to get a little bit of momentum up off the corner.
You know, McAnally said in his interview earlier tonight with Bernadette that they're really, you know, they just want to have track position, try to be there at the end. That's the most important thing. Well, right now they're in pretty good position.
See, I like the fact right now that NEMELA realized, I'm sure he had some help from a spotter, but realized that Mayhew was pulling to his outside, and he gave him room.
Oh, my goodness, is Michael Self-Loose. That 21 Rockwell Watches race car is all over the track, and he's side by side with our leader, and you're right, there's a great battle right here. The 99 will take the position, but Self is really, really loose off the corners.
It looked like Eric Holmes tiptoed his way around Michael Self. You see, Michael had some pretty good damage from that earlier incident. His car is certainly off the pace right now.
Self, the winner at Brainerd earlier this year, also got credit for the #1 spot at Iowa in our combination race. So 2 victories for the season for team number 21.
See, David Mayhew had a great season. Well, actually has had a great season, but did not run our last race at Napa Speedway. He was off running Camping World Trucks in Las Vegas. Had a great run there, finished in the top 10.
And I know Mayhew's pretty excited about going back to Phoenix, where he led wire to wire in our first event of 2012. Mayhew picking up the first victory of the season, and right now trying to stay in contention also, running in the top 5.
I know it's a huge surprise that Eric Holmes is leading here at Roseville.
Yeah, boy, that's so odd to see him up front.
Yeah, I talked to him last week, and he said, man, I cannot wait till we get to Roseville. It's just like, you know, putting on a really good pair of fitting gloves. You know, it just fits his driving style.
No question that race team comfortable here, that driver comfortable here. Early on in our race tonight, we had Kwasniewski on the pole. He only was out front for 1 lap before he got passed by Derek Thorn. Then Thorn had contact with the number 20, and that spun him to the inside, but Thorn's starting to get back in the game here a little bit.
Yeah, he's made his way back up into the top 5. Kwasniewski just outside the top 5.
Oh my goodness, Phil, we've run more than 15 laps without a yellow.
Yeah, I think that's a first in this race.
Cars starting to spread out a little bit here as there will be some lap traffic to deal with. Dylan Hutchison in that Johnny Walker Chevrolet, the next victim for the number 20. A little bit of contact there.
Okay, Eric's showing a lot of patience. Dylan's right on the bottom of the racetrack now, where Eric's going to be able to turn underneath him as they exit turn number 2.
He will get the position, drops down to the inside, almost gets that left rear off of the racetrack as he goes around the number 5 of Hutchison.
Cameron Haley's been able to stay right with Eric Holmes, though. He certainly learns quickly, as you can see. 4 top 5s and 8 top 10s already this season for the 16-year-old Cameron Haley.
You're talking about NEMELA doing a great job. 3 drivers making their first series start tonight here in this race.
Yeah, Jamie Kresick, the 16 car, another one of Bill and McAnally's cars, is making his first start.
We're getting some real serious traffic coming up here, Phil. The question is, can you do you always try to go to the bottom to navigate around these guys, or are you going to take whatever lane's open?
I think you have to take whatever lane's open. You see right there is the 31 car. That's Dallas Montez, our runner-up finisher last time out at Napa Speedway, driving the 2nd car out of the Offenbach stable. Who got a spinner, and there's that caution flag. It's Michael Self.
Self around once again, and he will bring out our 7th yellow of the night, and damage on the front, damage on the rear, and he just not seeming able to get a hold of this racetrack tonight.
You see him all by himself there right at the exit of the corner, just tried to get the power down. Just doesn't have the forward bite to do it.
That car very, very loose for sure. They're going to have to try to make some adjustments to that if Self's going to stay on the racetrack. The yellow is out once again. We're at the 2/3 mark of the NAPA Auto Parts 150. Eric Holmes out front and his teammate very, very close right behind. Good run tonight for the number 24 of Cameron Haley. He's trying to chase down the leader. Roseville, California. We're in the 2nd to the last race of the season for the K&M Pro Series West, and there has been a lot of action tonight. We're getting ready to go back to green after another caution. Michael Self spun out pretty much by himself this time. Here we go, back to green. Down the front stretch comes Eric Holmes in that number 20 with his teammate right by side.
Eric chose the outside once again. He's getting such a good run off for turn number 2, and that's enough to propel him out in front. Doesn't quite have Haley cleared yet. Haley stays side by side.
Here comes MAYHEW. He's going to get right into the mix of this thing. Boy, the season started out fantastic for David MAYHEW. Got that win at Phoenix, then went to Havasu, picked up a 2nd there. Then he went road course racing, stayed in the top 10 there, and a 3rd place at Stockton. Looked like he was really going to be a title contender in the early part of this season.
Well, and he should be. He's had all top 10 finishes. Obviously missed our last race when he was doing the truck race, but so have PURSLEY and so have Kwasniewski. All 3 of those drivers top 10 finishes every race.
Those are some amazing statistics to go through an entire season and not be outside the top 10. That's how you fight for a title, and we've got a good battle. And now we have our 8th caution on the racetrack.
Looks like Austin Dine has turned around here at the start-finish line. He actually landed in victory lane. If you look over to your right, there he is.
Hey, come take my picture. Little early,
yeah,
little early to be parked there, isn't it?
A little bit premature for that, but great top 5 finish last week, last time out at Napa Speedway for Austin Dine. He gets it refired.
The William Rast Ford back to the racetrack, and it's just been rough here tonight, Phil. We don't normally see these cars beat up like this, nor do we see this many cautions in many of these K&M Pro Series West races.
Yeah, a lot of damage to the William Rast Ford right there, front and rear for Austin Dine. But yet another restart that Eric Holmes is going to have to survive.
So the 20 car will be out front, his teammate right behind, and let's go back down trackside and check in with Bernadette.
Well, guys, the wrecks have been so aggressive here tonight that NASCAR officials just came over the radio and said the next driver that intentionally wrecks someone or takes him out is getting a 5-lap penalty.
And I would say that would catch your attention if you're behind the wheel and they tell you 5 laps. That's a pretty significant penalty.
Yeah, it certainly is. And again, sometimes though it's hard to tell whether it's intentional or not. So that's a judgment call that Joey and his guys up in the tar will have to make.
Getting ready to go back to green. Eric Holmes has been out front of this field for about 55 or 60 laps. He's got a good challenge by his teammate. Haley's down to the inside. Right behind him, though, here comes that number 03 back into the mix. Here comes Kwasniewski to try to get back to the front.
What a great recovery for Dylan Kwasniewski. We saw him had a flat tire early inside the first 10 laps. Fortunate enough not to lose a lap and battles his way back now in a side-by-side battle for second.
Here he goes to the outside. He's going to put his bumper right up the backside of that number 20. He's going to go around Hayley, but right now still a little bit loose. Can't get the second position.
He's going to keep Hayley pinched down to the bottom. Hayley's not going to be able to get the power down. Let's see if Dylan can emerge here with his spot. They're dead even at the start-finish line.
Sometimes it's good to be lucky, and maybe for Kwasniewski it was because that flat tire came so early in this race. He was able to stay on the lead lap, and he has been inching his way back to the front, side by side. And this time it looks like Kwasniewski will take over second.
Yeah, Dylan's got that second spot now. Hayley is back to third. Mayhew's trying to get that third spot away from Hayley. See him lining up right behind him right now. And now Derek Thorn moves to the inside of Mayhew.
Good racing all over the track. And as I looked at our ticker going across the top, we saw Greg Pursley right now back in 8th. Here comes Kwasniewski up to the front. So Kwasniewski, if this race were to end right now, would gain 8 or 10 points on his teammate. And they've got such a great battle going for the title.
Right now he's looking. Oh, we got NEMELA around in turn 4.
That's another one of McAnally's cars there with the NAPA sponsorship on it, and now the yellow is out. It looked like NASCAR was going to try to give him a shot at getting it restarted, but no contact there, Phil. He just spun.
He was running in the 6th spot. Just looked like he got in the corner a little bit too hard. Could not keep the back end underneath him. Had a great run running the top 5 for most of this race. There's another view of it. Talk about rear grip here. He had a lack of rear grip right there.
And that's one of those things you're going to learn whenever you get your first start in this kind of a stock car.
Especially at this kind of racetrack. A little tight bull ring here, this 3rd mile Roseville racetrack.
Wonder if he talked on the radio in Finnish or English.
I'm not sure.
116 laps are complete in the NAPA Auto Parts 150. Eric Holmes has been out front, but Kwasniewski right back in the fight. We'll see the closing laps coming up right after these messages. Dylan Kwasniewski started on the pole tonight in that Rockstar Royal Purple race car, and he has fought his way right back into contention as we are about ready to go back to green tonight in the NAPA Auto Parts 150. Eric Holmes, the dominant driver here at Roseville, gets the green and back down the front straightaway. He's on the power.
Yeah, Eric chose the outside once again. He gave the bottom of the racetrack for Kwasniewski, and Kwasniewski is dead even. Will have the advantage getting in 3.
They go down into the corner. Kwasniewski ducks down to the bottom, and he is going to take the lead back away. Eric Holmes goes to second place, and here comes Mayhew.
Yeah, I think Eric Holmes may regret giving the bottom of the racetrack to Kwasniewski. He lost that lead. He's had it for a long time.
How about, Phil, when I look at our stats, in the last 3 races, Holmes has finished 3rd in each of those events.
Yeah, he wants a little bit more, but right now it looks like Kwasniewski has opened up about 3 or 4 car lengths on Holmes. Kwasniewski, definitely the better car right now.
Now remember, he told Bernadette he's not going to run the car too hard and burn the tires off.
Well, it was so easy last week at Napa Speedway to burn those tires off. Tires aren't quite as critical here at Roseville.
Kwasniewski back to the lead right now, and we are keeping our eye on the championship point battle for you. Just 2 races remaining. This one and the final event of the year will be out at Phoenix coming up in November.
Yeah, we'll have that race live right here on Speed.
Very, very cool. We'll be there to cover it for you. And here comes the 17. David Mayhew trying to get into the mix. He's looking at the high side of the racetrack, trying to get around Holmes. Holmes making that race car very, very wide.
Yeah, he knows Eric Holmes is welded to the bottom of the racetrack right now. He's trying to figure out a way around him. He's working the outside down in 1 and 2, trying to get a good run off the corner. Got a little bit sideways that time.
How about the numbers, Phil, for Eric Holmes? An active drivers.
Ooh,
he's
contact.
got 17 career wins, and there's some more bumping and banging going on. Now to the inside, here comes Thorn. He's going to try to get the position away from Hayley.
Yeah, these guys made contact the last lap here, but Hayley's able to hold them off for the moment. Now Thorn has the inside once again.
I started talking about those win numbers. 17 for Holmes. Austin Cameron still in the hunt with 15 there. He's an infrequent competitor. But Greg Pursley now with 13 wins in this series. Last year, of course, he dominated on the way to the championship, the biggest championship margin in the history of the series. Pursley won the title last year over Eric Holmes by 262 points.
Yeah, it seemed like that he had the thing locked up about halfway through. He won 6 out of our first 8 races. Ooh, another caution flag.
Smoke on the front straightaway here. The yellow has come out, and the orange cone has been knocked from its position.
Oh, he's not going to be happy about that.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he says on Twitter.
See what happens. There's the exit of the corner. A little bit of contact. Looked like maybe the 71 of DARYL HARR got into the 26, and that's PURSLEY around again.
Greg Pursley with not a great night so far tonight here at All-American Speedway.
Right now, Greg Pursley outside the top 10, and Kwasniewski leading this race. We could have a huge point swing here.
4 wins this season for Greg Pursley, but right now his teammate in command of the NAPA Auto Parts 150. The youngster out front, can he get it done? We'll find out when we come back. California, Bernadette Santacola's in the pits. I'm Ray Dunlap along with Phil Parsons, and we could have a point shakeup tonight. We've got our eye on Greg Pursley, who's back about 5 rows. His teammate Dylan Kwasniewski came into this race just hoping to have a shot to take it to Phoenix, and so far Kwasniewski back out front after changing a tire in the very early stages of tonight's NAPA Auto Parts 150.
Great restart. Eric Holmes able to be right dead even with him down the backstretch. Now Kwasniewski's going to have the advantage as they get to turn 1.
I am not going to count Eric Holmes out, but so far it looks like his car's starting to go to the loose side a little bit. Kwasniewski really with great control, and here comes HAYLEY right back in the mix. Side by side is the 17 and the 24.
Yeah, I think Mayhew wanted to get to the inside of Eric Holmes, and then HAYLEY jumps to the outside of him. A little bit of contact at the exit of 4.
Remember, Eric Holmes has been good, and so has that number 6. The 6 car was good early till he got spun by the 20, so Derek Thorn, a guy we don't want to count out.
Certainly not. There's the 16. Kresick, he's running up in the top 10 right now. Good, great debut.
Real nice entry there by the Sunrise Ford. He's able to get side by side with HAYLEY, and that bottom side of the racetrack starting to work good for Thorn.
Yeah, Derek Thorn is so good on these short tracks. Saw him win at Lake Havasu. Saw him win at the Napa Speedway. Saw him lead early on here. Got spun around by Eric Holmes. Now he's fought his way back into the top 5.
So closing in on 10 laps to go right now. Kwasniewski back to the front. Can the number 20 do anything with him, and will the number 03 burn his tires off in these final 10 laps?
Right now, great side-by-side battle for the 4th spot. Derek Thorn gets underneath Cameron HAYLEY and takes over that 4th spot.
Boy, Thorn really seems to be charging to the front. His next victim will be the MMI Services number 17 of David Mayhew. Thorn working his way back up into the top 5. Can he get to the front, though? I don't know. We're running out of time, Phil.
Yeah, Eric Holmes was the quickest car on the racetrack at that time. He gained just about a 1/10 of a second on the 03 of Kwasniewski, but Kwasniewski still with a comfortable 4-car length lead, if that can be construed as comfortable.
I understand what you're saying, and here's the thing. When I look back at our lap leader chart, you know, it was 4 or 5 races in a row where Pursley was out front each and every week, and Kwasniewski not leading any laps, but the last 2 races, the 03 has been right back to the point.
Yeah, it's hard to look around those bonus points. They can sure make a big difference.
Bonus points for leading the most laps. Bonus points for getting out front. Pursley has not been at the front of the field tonight. Did not have a good qualifying effort and has been involved in 2 or 3 spins. And right now, I'm checking here, Phil. I think he's 12th or 13th right now is Pursley.
Yeah, huge point swing here. If Dylan Kwasniewski can hold on for this win with the bonus points for winning, I think that'll be enough to get him out front in the point championship.
A little bit of damage on the rear end of that 03. He will now cut to the inside of John Wood down the front straightaway, but Holmes is closing that gap with 5 laps to go.
He's right there. He's within striking distance. Have some heavy traffic coming up here. Michael Self, the 21 car, moves way over, giving the leaders room, though.
Super loose is the 21.
Oh, into the outside wall.
Yeah, contact. Luckily, Self was able to hold on to that thing.
Does not bring out a caution flag. That's the last thing Dylan Kwasniewski wanted, was a caution flag and have to have another side-by-side restart.
Thorn is out of time. There's no way he's going to make it to the front, barring some unforeseen circumstances. I don't think Mayhew can do it, but can the number 20 get there? I think the answer is probably.
Yeah, they have about 3 cars about a straightaway ahead of them. I'm not sure they're going to have time to get to those lap cars. 2 to go.
You notice I was on the fence a little there. Didn't say yes or no, but a definite probably. Here we go. 2 to go, and here comes the number 20. Can Eric Holmes close in, and will lap traffic make a difference?
There's 1 more lap to go here. Are they going to get to that lap traffic?
White flag is out. Here goes Kwasniewski down the back straightaway. Can Eric Holmes get another win here at the All-American Speedway? Lap traffic in the way, and down the front straightaway, Dylan Kwasniewski is going to win again in 2012.
And it looks like with Greg Pursley going to come across the line in about 13th.
Oh, boy.
I think we may have a new point leader.
I would have never believed it. I thought Pursley just had to come in here and knock out a top 5, and he could cruise his way through Phoenix, but that is certainly not the case. And keep in mind, our youngest champion in series history was Chuck Bound at 22 years and 7 months, and Dylan Kwasniewski could smash that record.
But what a battle we're going to have going to Phoenix. Greg Pursley's awfully good at Phoenix. Kwasniewski doesn't have as much experience at Phoenix, but that hasn't stopped him anywhere else he's been.
And the question is this a 2-man race, or is Derek Thorn still in the picture?
I think right now I'm going to look at a 2-horse race, but again, it'll be a big field of cars at Phoenix too, so anything can happen.
Gene Price Motorsports going to take their way to victory lane tonight, and they're also going to go to Phoenix with a 2-car battle for the 2012 championship in the NASCAR K&M Pro Series. We'll hear from our winner, the youngster Dylan Kwasniewski, right after this. Welcome back to the NAPA Auto Parts 150. Fireworks going off, and fireworks in our championship chase. Dylan Kwasniewski goes to victory lane tonight in the Toyota NAPA Auto Parts 150. Let's hear from him.
Taking a race 14 of 15 here in Roseville, All-American Speedway, Dylan Kwasniewski. I know you want to celebrate, but wow, okay, you actually were able to stay ahead in such an exciting race.
I mean, it was crazy. I mean, we got sent to the back 2 times, and I mean, thanks to Rockstar and Royal Pro for putting on an awesome car. I mean, Jeff Jefferson, Craig, Chris, Aldi, Mike, Robert, my mom especially, Rodney, everyone that helped me out on the team. I mean, this was by far my best win this year, and I'm thankful to have this car.
Definitely the most satisfying win this year.
Oh, for sure. Coming from the back twice is pretty cool.
All right, well, let's just celebrate your team. Dylan Kwasniewski takes it here in Roseville.
Talking about Jeff Jefferson, his crew chief there, Craig Neems, and the whole crew coming from Gene Price Motorsports. Those guys put a great piece of equipment under Dylan Kwasniewski tonight. Holmes will come home second. Another good run for David Mayhew. Derek Thorn will be posted in 4th. Cameron Haley gets a top 5, and welcome back to Jonathan Gomez. He'll finish 10th tonight.
Yeah, how about the debut for Jamie Kresick? He finishes 6th in his first start ever here in the series.
NEMELA had a great run, but ends up 15th after going for a spin. And as we look back through the rest of the field, we had 24 starters tonight. First-time starter Jillian Juice will finish 24th. Now let's hear from our second-place finisher standing down in pit road. Here's Bernadette.
A tough second place for Eric Holmes on a track I know you're great at winning at. I know your birthday's next week, but yet it was such a fight. Talk about how crazy this race was.
Yeah, it was definitely a fight. I mean, it was great racing up front. You know, all of us had a great race, great side-by-side. Disappointed in what happened with Derek. I mean, I'd never turn him, especially 40, 50 laps into the race. So he just checked up a little bit more, and I was expecting. I got into him. I tried to let him save it, but he didn't there. And I was trying to disappointed myself and him for what had happened. That was just too early for something like that. So I was glad he recovered for a finish. But the NAPA Toyota was fast tonight, and Dylan was just better on those short runs, and he kind of got me on that short run there. And if we could have had a little longer, you know, green flag there at the end, I think I had something for him. But a great race, and congratulations to him. Come from the back and racing for points, so it should be good points tonight for him.
Right, finishing in second place, Eric Holmes.
Eric Holmes, a guy you expect to go to victory lane at this racetrack, and obviously not happy about that contact, but when we look at this points race, Derek Thorn 29 out, but how about that front battle?
Yeah, terrific battle. Only 2 points separate him, and David Mayhew back in 5th, and he's down with Bernadette.
All right, finishing in 3rd, and what a crazy night this has been. David Mayhew returning. You weren't with us last week, but what a race.
Yeah, no, it was a hard-fought race. Every time we come here to All-American, there's 2 lanes of pretty decent racing, and down in 1 and 2, you can run the top a little better, and 3 and 4, you got to be on the bottom, so makes for good racing. We came from 8th. The MMI guys worked hard all day. We were 15th in practice and just kept getting better and better and better, and ended up 3rd. I think we had a decent car. We could have got there, Eric, if we would have gotten the right lane on a restart, but Dylan was definitely a class of the field.
All right, well, David Mayhew here in 3rd place tonight.
And our next race will be at Phoenix. Mayhew very, very good at that track. And on our racing schedule, you'll see the Classic 3 Championship coming up from Rockingham. That's our next K&M Pro Series East race.
That's going to be the finale for the East Series at Rockingham. First time ever at that speedway.
And boy, do we have a battle going to Phoenix. Gene Price Motorsports will take both of their cars in a hunt for a title. Tonight, it's the 5th career win for Kwasniewski.